Welcome to Mystic Moons. I hope you're doing well. It's in a hot summer night, kind of muggy, raining in the afternoon type of mugginess. Windows are open, AC's on, that kind of thing. Even though the air quality is supposed to be iffy, still the windows are open. It makes it feel more expansive. Yeah, there's been a lot of chaos happening in Washington, D.C. in the United States. Lots of chaos. And it's almost as though, well, not almost as though, we have a 360 going on. We have or at least a 180. We have, things are not what they were promised to be. But one of these caveats could be as well, before Joe Biden was finishing his term, he pardoned a number of people. And towards the end, I think he pardoned about 5,000 people. Towards the end, he was doing, or maybe all along, he was using an Autopenned. And one of the people that he made sure he pardoned was Antony Fauci. Now, we all know who Antony Fauci is, right? Antony Fauci has become a symbol of pharmaceutical advancements, pharmaceutical experiments, big pharma. It's hard to think of Antony Fauci without thinking of his legacy. And his legacy is, we all know is, mass vaccination of an experimental mRNA cocktail. Yes, a cocktail. And we wonder, is this experimental, was unapproved, but it was for our own good that we were forced. People in different countries were forced to take the mRNA experimental shot. Irregardless, there was no case, the effects were unknown, but it was for our own good. Now, we know that presidential pardons do have weight, right? But I would think, and everybody else thinks too, that you would have to actually use your hand signing it on the piece of paper. Can you imagine having a pen, like you see this pen? It just goes, maybe it just even moves by itself, without the hand. And in fact, anyone who could press a button, because it's connected to something, could press a button and it would just sign it. Well, that's what they found out. And President Donald Trump is getting lots and lots and lots and lots of heat lately. Well, he always has lots of controversy. But in terms of the Jeffrey Epstein thing, what does he have that he could neutralize somewhat the fervor for his head over that? Well, Anthony Fauci. Anthony Fauci is perfect. Hello, how are you? Paintbrush. Nice to see you. Yes, Anthony Fauci. Now, how could it be a pardon if he was not officially signed by the president? It's not a presidential pardon. It is a machine learning device that one of his assistants turned on the button. Boop, boop, boop. And the pardon was written. So now we're going to see, will Trump take this time to overturn that and bring up that whole MNR experimental shot, mass vaccination campaign, which he did do warp speed. He's still proud of that. So it's very strange. It's very strange, but he did not make Trump said, I'm not a scientist. I was told by Anthony Fauci that this was the good for humanity. I'm sure they have all their little excuses and cue cards ready. But the point we're talking about, Mystic Moon listeners, is the fact of, will Trump use this Will Anthony Fauci be indicted for crimes against humanity? Will Anthony Fauci be indicted for crimes against humanity? Let's take a few cards. Now, I hope everybody just thinks about this. Now, you remember 5 years ago, you couldn't go to concerts, you couldn't work, you couldn't do anything without having your vaccination card, your proof of vaccination, and not just once. You needed boosters. And we had everyone. Oh, we had the flu and what was it? Flu and cough had disappeared, and we were just hearing about the C word. The C word. We won't even say it. We're talking now. Will Anthony Fauci be indicted for the campaign that he orchestrated? He didn't even say, will he be indicted for all the little puppies that he used? Of course, human life and puppy life are not equally valued. The point is, will Anthony Fauci, will he be indicted for crimes against humanity? Now, are they setting the stage? And yes, it's an excellent diversion from Epstein. Of course, both are quite puke-worthy, but that's my own personal opinion. Let's just see if the spirits agree that something's in the air. And will Anthony Fauci? Well, the first thing we get is the 10 of wands. The 10 of wands. 10 of wands. Oh, yes. There's definitely something not legal. I mean, really, to have an Autopenned signature signed by somebody else saying it was you, that's rather crooked. That's rather fraud. And here we have the Hierophant. Hierophant is though you can say Biden told me to do it, but Biden is quite how do you say the word? Doesn't he have dementia? Didn't he have dementia during most of the time of his presidency? He could not remember. He cannot remember. Age-related memory loss. Didn't he get lost in even getting off the stage? But then again, the person said, we had surmised all these types of excuses that the Two of Cups, Biden was in agreement. But Biden can't remember anything. So how is the fact that he actually did that? Who did it? So we have a very, very sticky situation here. And we have one in which the effect of the mRNA shot is not known. And there's been a lot of cancer. There's been a lot of heart attacks. There's been a lot of physical body problems. And there's been deaths. Most people know people who have died suddenly, especially in the United States and elsewhere. In Japan, they already have an investigation and they have quite a scene going on there. And the other effects besides death, heart attack, and there's also fertility questions. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of things that are not known. And then here we have the 10 of Cups. This is almost like quite a sign, a good sign, that they will be he will be relegated to being indicted. He will be indicted. We have two 10s, the 10 of Wands and the 10 of Cups. Both of them have feelings of something's going on. Something. All right. The next thing we have here is the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups. The country needs to hear this. The country needs to be further demoralized, further scared, further frightened. The next thing we have is here. Then we have the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups, the walking away, nothing to see here, or the fact that that's what we'll do. We'll set it up. We'll have him go through the ringer, and then we'll be able to like walk free and get it in, and not be dealing with 25 years of Epstein's blackmail and child pedophile crimes, pedophilia crimes. So it's a gamble. It's a gamble going on. It's a gamble. And it seems the Trump administration is willing to take this gamble because people have rawness. People have not had closure. Of course, there's no closure with any of these things going on. But they're throwing another corrupt experience into the masses, into the people's face. Will he be indicted? Yes, he'll be indicted. He'll go through it. Will be able to get off? I don't know yet. But he will definitely be indicted for crimes against humanity. He is responsible not only in the United States, but elsewhere. Other countries. Other countries will pick up on, other countries will take the lead of the United States. And Trump likes to be a leader. He likes to let the shoe drop. He likes to be, I did it. His ego isn't tremendous. So, I mean, this is something extremely, almost like Pandora's box. Of course, Epstein is Pandora's box as well. All these layers and layers of crimes or corruptness that has never been checked. Layer and layer, and people are getting richer and richer and richer, and others are getting poorer and poorer. See the way this goes. I say that the Fauci will get indicted. It's already underway. And of course, it opens up a lot of things. But you can always say, I fell behind the spell, they will say, of the medical team, the medical pyramid, hierarchy, expertise, decision, the science. Didn't Fauci once call himself science man? Further eroding, but clarifying what some of us knew then, that there's an air of exaggeration, phoniness, and theater. We'll see what happens, but I would say that Fauci is definitely up for a little grandstanding. They're getting ready for it. And of course, he's getting his team. Could it be another Diddy showcase? Another reducing? Probably. It could be. Because too many heads would roll. And there's too much money involved, trillions of dollars in the pharmaceutical business. However, lives have been shattered. Lives have been ruined. So this is not something that could be so easily written off. Diddy was music and abusive, an industry that's geared for manipulation. But Fauci's business, his dealings, are a little bit more granular, a little bit more tactile, a little bit more. Hello? Hi, your favorite. How are you? Well, okay. So we just have to. That was a sorry time. Lockdown. You couldn't do this. You couldn't do that. That was a horrible, horrible time. And we do know that bureaucrats had their fun doing that. And it's never really been explained. And of course, with right now, the tempo has increased. We're going towards something, and we need a lot of discussions. And Fauci fits the bill. Technically, realistically, he fits the bill. So, yes, Anthony Fauci will be indicted by the Trump administration. I can still remember seeing them on the podiums together, and Anthony Fauci taking control. Well, we will see what happens now. Same characters, different seats. Tell me, how was your experience during that time, lockdown, during the pandemic? How was your experience? Think about it. Think about what you did and how you did it, and the effect it had on your lives. And we all know that Anthony Fauci has had no pain, no pain, no pain, but not like you and I have had. It was quite a setup. His wife was Health and Human Services, right? Set the program, CDC, all these things. Well, I think we can leave this subject if anybody would like a reading or anything about, like, how do you feel about the things that happened to you during that period, or still are you still feeling the effects? Yes, it was very, very. I mean, I think that so many people's love lives, so many people's careers, we've all been affected by Anthony Fauci and the Acquia and the government going ahead and doing this all over the world. Many, 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 many people have had their lives changed. We're probably in a recession. We're in a recession right now because of that fact. So I don't really think he should get like a walkway, a walk in the park. So all these things will or will not come out. But the main thing is forcing an experimental shot on people. Many layers, many layers. All right, until the next time, I'm going to end this reading and we'll see what happens. Right now, we can safely say that, clearly see, that Anthony Fauci will be indicted for crimes against humanity soon. Until the next time. So, your comments, please, and thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. And we'll see what happens.